Just now getting into the car here in Bowman Gray. Actually, got a kink in the neck. Probably from changing tires. But we are actually in a shuttled parking lot area, which is located at the college football stadium, which is kind of how I felt like this was for me. I did not anticipate it being as cold as it was. Sorry, putting some chapstick on. But I did not anticipate it being this cold. So I kind of felt like I was in the old Iowa college football game that we attended. There's the actual Wake Forest college football stadium in the distance. If you can see it, let me see if I can. Yeah, so that's Wake Forest. Yes, Wake Forest, the college football team. That is the stadium of Wake Forest. And that is where one of the parking lots for the race was located. So we are turning out of that parking lot area. And we are on a new tire. Once again, for those who stayed up with us last night, we hit a pothole live on the show going north on 81. We changed the tire to the spare live at 2 a.m. on the side of a highway, and then dodged deer and potholes the rest of the way to get to our destination at 5:30 a.m. I predicted it pretty accurately. We didn't go to sleep till 6:30. We then got up at around 10:30, 10:45. Well, I'll take that back. 11:45, I think, is about when I woke up. I didn't wake up to my alarms. I kind of naturally woke up. So it's kind of hard to remember, when you naturally wake up, you're like, oh, my alarm ain't went off. You dozed off, you come back up. I think it was about 11:45. Got going, got to the track, watched the modifieds, watched a bunch of stuff. There are some funny stories along the way. Of course, getting to the track for the first time was pretty cool. Seeing Bowman Gray Stadium for the first time. We did our lives and all the sorts. It was very entertaining to see the facility for the first time ever. How's the hoodie? We did pick up a hoodie. A Jason Myers, the Jason Myers Racing, Burt Myers' brother, a number 4 car, the only hoodie in the building. And get this, they didn't allow the modified guys to set up their t-shirt trailers or merchandise anywhere in the track facility or in the fan zone. So I had to walk into the pitting area of the modified guys, which was somewhat open to the public, and I purchased the only hoodie that it seemed like anyone had. And the reasoning for that was it gets so warm here early in the year, and they don't really race until later when it is warm, that there's kind of no purpose to have hoodies because they only really race in the summer months, which is fine. But the hoodie was $35. Very good, I would say, soft material was this hoodie. I got a hell of a kink in my neck, turning it to the left or the right. Yeah, it's kind of pretty bad. I don't know what that's about. Finally getting a monkey off my back. I'm loosening up the muscles. But the hoodie was $35, and the reason I feel like that's worth mentioning is that the NASCAR hoodie, the only other hoodie that I really saw of Bowman Gray, it was a NASCAR Clash hoodie. And that hoodie was $89. So, I kind of understand why they didn't want the modified guys to put their hoodies up for sale, because their hoodies are $89. And if you got people selling modified hoodies right next to your trailer, when you're trying to sell $89 hoodies and they're selling them for $35, that's not going to work out too well. So them selling in the pitting area makes business sense for NASCAR. Additionally, the parking lot I just got out of was a $50 per day parking lot. There was no other parking within the area. The closest other parking from the dirt people that we talked to that they found was an abandoned warehouse, and that was still $40. So there was technically nobody getting off cheap as far as finding somewhere to park. So it was it definitely took a hit in the side of the neck on that one. But we were able to do that in a kind of a pay-in-4 type of payment plan deal. So we split that up into 4 payments, the purchasing of the $100 for the parking for 2 days, so $25 over the next 6 weeks, $25 every 2 weeks technically. Trying to save, trying to make every dollar last in this whole venture. Getting into the race, the modifieds, I was really looking forward to them. They're the race car themselves are very nice race cars. I think they're some of the nicest race cars in the country as far as how they look, how they run. The racing there was single file. I could give it to a bunch of guys saying the racing was boring. It's true, it was technically boring. Hello, Derek area looks boring, just saying. I don't know what Derek area means. Derek, Uber, what are you talking about? Oh, we got a split in the road. 52 south. Okay. These roads, man, they got them made up pretty weird. But regardless, the modifieds were pretty boring, not gonna lie. But it was cool to see modifieds Bowman Gray. That is, once again, Bowman Gray, the first NASCAR sanctioned track in 1949. NASCAR didn't even start being a series or a sanction until 1948. So at least you get to experience a piece of NASCAR history, which was a part of my allure to even go to Bowman Gray. But then you also had this NASCAR Cup Series event that happened. So NASCAR Cup Series was interesting. Qualifying and practice. First of all, it got very cold. It was around 48 degrees, they say, but it felt really cold, in my opinion. I didn't bring any kind of cold weather stuff. I brought Florida weather stuff. Talking about the area you're in looks boring in this area and state. I don't know what this means. It's a college town. Yeah, Wake Forest is here. I didn't know that. But at the end of the day, the first heat race comes out for the Cup cars, and it was actually kind of badass. When Kyle Busch went in there, had his issue, and then all the tempers flared up. Like, everybody in the arena, like they said on TV or whatever, was standing and waiting for something to fucking just pop off. It was crazy. Like, I could see how that allure of some kind of controversy on the track spewing over into something more is electrifying, because everybody in the grandstand area was on their feet. It was very entertaining at that moment, and it kind of made me feel like, okay, the modifieds, they're open wheel, they can, lay the chrome horn and stuff, but they can't really lean on each other or bump on one another as much as the Cup cars could. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe this is a sign that we're going to be able to see these Cup cars get to beating and banging more and racing a little bit more, because they can move guys and lean on each other a little better than the modifieds. And that's what we got there in that first heat race. Very entertaining heat race. But then that went away. The second race, they kind of single filed out pretty instantly, and things just went as status quo as the modified racing. Yeah, there was some drama in the back, a couple of cars getting close. What was it? Ryan Preece straight up dumping the 42 car into the wall of John Hunter Nemechek. That happened, but there really wasn't no Guy gets spun, runs up onto another guy, and pushes him around the track like the Kyle Busch situation was, which was entertaining. I mean, everybody in the damn place stood up on their feet, started cheering and clapping. It was pretty intense. I don't know how to describe it technically. It was like, oh my God, something's happening here. I kind of think we were all deprived, though, from some action. So it's like we hadn't ate all day on action because everything else was so single file. And when something happened, it was like we were so deprived from action. We were just like ecstatic that finally this is it. And then it went away. And then potentially, in my opinion, the saddest thing that I ever saw of the entire day. And I mean, there were some good things. Like I said, the electrifying feeling there. The stadium seating, the food there. There was one guy with the turkey flag flying in the air. Sold a freaking chicken barbecue loaded baked potato for $12. It was unbelievable how much and how good that food was for $12. Honestly, I would expect that to be 18 or 20 anywhere else. But the saddest thing that happened, in my opinion, was when the heat race came out and local legends of the modified racing scene at Bowman Gray, heroes of Tim Brown, came out there. Tim Brown, 15 car orange, bright and amazing. And then the 15 car as well, Burt Myers. And they fell off the pace by about a half track from the field. Couldn't even keep up with the field. They raced one another. And then within a 25-lap heat race that they called it, qualifier, Tim Brown was lapped, and in a lap or two, Burt Myers would have been lapped as well. And as that was happening, me personally, I mean, I know the announcer's like, oh, I'm sure the locals were getting all happy and hyped when Tim Brown and Burt Myers were battling back there for the final position. And me, I wouldn't be happy about that if I was a lifetime fan and these were my heroes and I thought they were this great grand driving talent. I would be sad. I would be depressed. I would be lit down big time. I would feel like my hero was getting beaten, you know. I would feel sad that my guy got a shot and all this hype or all this belief I had in this guy being this great talent, this potential great, that anybody could come into his house, race on his turf, that he's going to be able to beat him. He's the best I've ever seen my entire life at this racetrack. And for him and his arch rival, who's the only other guy who could keep up with him, in my mind, to get literally obliterated on the field in front of my eyes would be extremely depressing to me as a fan. Now, the realization to this is that there is reasons as to why that happened. I had people text me from this Bowman Gray area and say, Chaz, these cars they're in are just junk. Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's great. But when we did our interview with Tim Brown earlier today, he said he had never been in a next-gen car. So these guys didn't have practice. They didn't have laps. This was the first time ever in these cars for these two guys. And, you know, it is hard to drive a newer car, especially the next-gen car. Laps on those vehicles, knowing what they want, how they're going to act, how they're going to react, how much throttle to give, how to work the brake on the throttle, how to trail brake properly, what limitations you can push the car, how fast it does brake, how fast it does accelerate. These are things that you have to learn on asphalt. You have to learn those things, especially on a flat track. Which, by the way, even the flat track threw Kyle Larson for a loop. Kyle Larson was getting outran by the entire field just about as much as Burt Myers and Tim Brown was, because he's a dirt track slinger guy. He didn't have no banking to lean on or a cushion to drive on. He was on a flat racetrack, and he had to drive it like an old school asphalt car. If you noticed, a lot of your old school asphalt drivers kicked some ass tonight. Because a flat track like that, really, you have to be really good at knowing how to roll the center and apply brake and do it in the right way to where you can get off the corner correctly. Rolling in and out of the throttle properly, knowing those cars is going to help, but that was the asphalt driver's haven right there. But even with all the talent of a Kyle Larson, he was lost on a track like that. And I would still say, even with all the talent of a Burt Myers and a Tim Brown, both of those people are going to be lost, even on their own track in those race cars, because those race cars are just a completely different animal. And if you have time driving those vehicles like the majority of the Cup car drivers do, you're going to have an advantage on how deep you can drive the car, how much throttle to apply on the exit of the corner, whether to shift or not. I'm not sure if some are shifting or not, but these cars, they're known to shift a lot nowadays. How much do you need to roll out of the gas? How much do you need to apply the brake? These are things that if you drive those cars long enough, you at least know the tendencies of the vehicle. And I think that is something that happened there with Tim Brown and Burt Myers, is they lack the knowledge of the tendencies of the vehicle. And you can see that with how they were driving it. They were getting too loose on exit or entering too soft, and it was literally a practice session for them. They should have been given. Apparently, like I said, Tim Brown told me it was his first time in a next gen car today. They got to practice, okay, sure, but they got 20 laps. They didn't get a full blown practice session or day or anything like that. So just jumping in those cars, even with the track knowledge, you need to know those cars' tendencies, especially on a flat little quarter mile like that, where you got to be able to drive the car almost more so than the track. And that, in my opinion, is the big difference there on what happened tonight. With Burt Myers and Tim Brown. The lack of understanding those vehicles, which you need to have a pretty good understanding of to drive well, is where they lack. Not in talent necessarily, not in ability or track knowledge, obviously, but in knowledge of the car's tendencies and what it can and cannot do. They just looked like they were out there trying to figure it out the entire night. And these other guys who are full-time Cup Series drivers, whether they're good or not good, they kind of know how that car drives. They know how much they can push it. They know how much throttle they can apply before it breaks loose. They know how much brake to give. They know how deep they can go into the corner before they have to brake. I mean, these are things that, in asphalt racing especially, and on a track like that especially, that you need to know. But regardless, I still felt like what happened tonight, as much as the announcer tried to play it off, is fans had to love watching their two, lifetime fucking heroes roll a half track behind the entire field and get lapped in a 25 lap event. That had to be great for the local fan base. No, that was not great. There's nothing great about it. There's reasons it happened, but there's nothing great about it, period. Regardless, this is also where people would say, well, Chaz, you say, well, anybody can go up into NASCAR. They're just a bunch of rich kids that can drive. I mean, I still potentially believe that with a fair shot. But me, at the end of the day, I've always sat back and said that our drivers are some of the best drivers in the world in our dirt cars. And they deserve the recognition and respect for what they do in dirt cars. I said all the time, I don't really care what you do in NASCAR. Those race cars determine how good you drive. I referenced the Chip Ganassi ride with Larson, 6 wins in 6 years. Goes to a Hendrick car, dominates. Kyle Busch does all the domination in the Gibbs cars, gets into an RCR car, and all of a sudden is a Ganassi Larson example. So that gives you an example on how the cars are determining how well these drivers perform, not the driver and their ability. I think that on dirt and sprint cars as super late models, the driver is able to make a difference and shine through. The equipment is more equal, and I think it takes a little bit more skill personally to sling a sprint car around on a fence at 130 miles an hour, trading slide jobs, or 4 wide and 3 wide, slamming late models, floating them through the dry slick of racetracks, etc. So I just think that these things are a little bit more difficult than NASCAR Cup racing. But in the same light, this does give a little, notch on the mantle for Cup drivers being good in Cup cars. And, okay, fine. That's good, great. My only issue with that is society already thinks that. Also, society thinks that all those Cup drivers are better than all the dirt drivers and every other motorsports driver in America because they're perceived as the NFL level of motorsports. That is a lie. That is not true. There is no system that garnishes the drivers into that league. Therefore, I point to dirt track racing where the most or more competitors are with the most equal opportunity of competition. So, that would be my stance on all that. But Cup drivers in Cup cars are good, but I still say I don't care what you do in the Cup car because the car is doing most of the work. And you may have to have some basic knowledge on that car to perform well. Okay, great. But I still think at the end of the day, the strength of your car is going to be the strength of your finish, not how good you are or the guy beating you. I had a discussion tonight in the bus ride, the shuttle ride to the parking lot we just left, with a member from RCR. He's like, oh yeah, I agree with you on what you just said about Kyle Busch. I actually work at RCR. Then we talked about that. I was like, I just think Kyle's not in a good enough car to win. Just like Larson wasn't in a good enough car to win at Ganassi. I think the cars determine your finishing position. And he's like, I hate to agree with you, but you're probably right. That's what it looks like to me as well. So, I mean, there's all these points that I make about NASCAR and renter rides and rich kids and all these things, even though y'all in the comments and even some people in dirt like to combat me about it. There's a ton of people in the NASCAR industry that agree. Now, of course, they have to stay quiet because they have to appease these rich people so that the company continues to make money off of their substantial income from outside sources and support groups. But for the most part, the industry of NASCAR agrees with these flaws in their system. How they want to fix it, obviously, the people in charge with all the connections are the ones making the decision. But anyway, I do think the strong cars tonight, one would be the 2311 car, which, by the way, I was going to say the 45 of Tyler Reddick, which, by the way, that logo you see on Tyler Reddick's car, that is the Michael Jordan logo with a black box in front of it, sort of a censored logo on the car of Tyler Reddick. I originally thought that I was like, oh shit, they're like wrapping the car to say F you to NASCAR. We're not going to let Michael Jordan's logo be shown on your racetracks. But apparently that is the 30th year anniversary for the logo. And when the logo was first coming out, when Michael Jordan was playing basketball, apparently the logo was deemed to be not fit for the NBA. And they tried to restrict Michael Jordan from showing the logo when he originally came out with it on his sneakers. So the 30-year anniversary of the Michael Jordan Air Jordan logo is the Jordan logo with that black sensor kind of block in front of it. It is funny that it just so happens to fall on the following year after Michael Jordan and NASCAR got into a legal disagreement. That is very funny and interesting to think about. So, as much as we would like to sit back here and potentially think that that was like a shot at NASCAR, that is the reasoning behind that logo placement and visual appearance. I do think Tyler Reddick was very fast, though. I also believe that Denny Hamlin is very fast. These flat, kind of old school asphalt tracks, that's where Denny Hamlin cut his teeth, so he's going to be good in it. I think Denny Hamlin is a car that you're going to have to worry about. I think William Byron is very fast. I think one of my underdogs after watching the heat racing action is Shane Van Gisbergen, SPG. I think SPG is a underdog simply for the fact that it's kind of like a road course, but with two corners, very flat. You know, a lot of those Australian road courses over there, they have flat and some negative degree cornering. And even in the dirt racing that he did over there, a lot of it was flat. They don't have a lot of tracks with banking over there. In New Zealand in particular, Western Springs comes to mind. So I think SVG is a sleeper that people don't see coming that could potentially win this event tomorrow. I actually placed a bet on him. He's one of my sleepers. I think that Ryan Preece is a potential threat. Just because he is a modified guy. He has laps on that racetrack of Bowman Gray. A lot of modified racing does happen on flat asphalt tracks. So I think Ryan Preece is also a threat, just in another sleeper threat, just in experience in a way. Outside of that, I know Chase Elliott looks good. He should be in a good Hendrick car. The biggest bust of the night to me, though, had to be Kyle Larson, guys. I mean, Kyle Larson looked lost. The field pulled away on Kyle Larson. I watched him. I didn't look at the TV screen. I watched Kyle Larson. I was there. He was literally getting out drove. He didn't know how to drive the car on a flat asphalt surface like that. Which is weird because Kyle does well on road courses. He's not like lost out there. But he looked lost. Kyle Larson looked like he didn't know what to do. I don't know if that's because he didn't have a berm or a cushion or a bank or something to lean on. You know, when you got a track that's got a little lean to it, you kind of drive off that right rear mentality, like a dirt style a little bit. You can kind of throttle the car around the corner, but when you're on these flat asphalt tracks, this old school asphalt driving style, you kind of got to pivot on the right front and kind of float your left rear. And I don't know how, almost like a dirt late model driving style. And I don't know, I mean, I know he's drove well in dirt late models, but it just doesn't look like Kyle is comfortable on this old school asphalt style of driving. You would think Martinsville would compare, but I mean, Bowman Gray, guys, is flat, flat, flat. Martinsville actually has banking. I know TV don't make it look like it does, but it has banking, especially in comparison to Bowman Gray. Bowman Gray is a flat, flat, flat racetrack. And I don't know if Kyle has ever really driven on in the style that is needed to be successful at that track. And it looked like he just didn't know what to do out there. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. He didn't know how to drive that car on that racetrack. So that would have been the biggest disappointment. I know you're like, oh, you always hating on Kyle. Guys, I like Kyle when it comes to NASCAR racing. But there is no way, if you're a Kyle Larson fan, you are happy or proud or anything of the sorts. It's closer to the Burt Myers, Tim Brown performance. Because Kyle does have all these laps and knows the car and all that, but he had no idea of the track. It's almost the reverse of the Tim Brown, Burt Myers deal, where they had all the track knowledge, but they had no idea about the race car. The vehicle knowledge was empty. Where I feel almost the same with Kyle. Like, he had all the vehicle knowledge, But the style and technique that it took to drive that flat style racetrack, I can't actually off the top of my head remember when he's ever had to drive on a track that was shaped that way. So, or with that low degree of banking. So it's like his knowledge of driving on those style of racetracks was a blank slate. At least that's how it came across. So anyways, that would be my takeaways of the night. The funniest part, I would say, of the evening would have been leaving the facility. There was a crosswalk guy trying to, hold on. That just rolls up on me bright like me. Can you go by, please? Thank you. We were walking out. We stood in line in the very cold weather for this shuttle bus. And there was a crosswalk going from one side of the track to the other. And if any vehicle was to stop in that crosswalk section, there was a cop there, controlling the crosswalk that would yell at you. Well, this one guy slowed down and the cop yelled at him, keep going, do not stop and drop or pick up, go to the end of the street right there, right now, go. He started yelling at him, just screaming his ass off. And there was this old drunk guy standing on the other side of the road. And he said, why don't you fucking yell louder, you motherfucker? Said it right to the cop. And the cop said, what the fuck did you just say? He said, you just fucking... The old guy says, you're yelling at these fucking people. What's your fucking problem? He said this to the cop guy. This guy just chugging a beer, smoking a cigarette. And the cop said something. He said, how about you come the fuck over here? I ain't coming over there. And the cop said, why don't you come over here and tell me that? And the old guy said, I ain't fucking coming over there. How about you come over here, motherfucker? And so the cop started walking dead straight at him, dude. This was Jerry Springer. The cop started walking dead ass at him. He got up into his face. And the guys, they just started going at it. I don't know what they were screaming, yelling. My phone was dead, so I would have recorded this shit. But they were dead screaming, yelling at one another. Fuck you, motherfucker. No, fuck you. And he's like, you're still fucking yelling at people? You're the big fucking dick-headed motherfucker, aren't you? He's yelling at that cop. And then the other cops, there's like 3 or 4 of them, started coming over. And when the guys started getting closer, he's like, yeah, y'all need to come get your boy over here. You need to come get your boy off of me. I ain't doing a motherfucking thing. He came over here. Fuck him. Come get your boy, motherfuckers. Dude, this guy is still chugging the beer in the cop's face. I'm like, they're going to get this motherfucker for a public intoxication. There ain't no way they're going to let this guy just yell and cuss this motherfucking cop out while he's drinking and smoking in public, technically, on the sidewalk, and just let him off scot-free. Anyways, both the cops, 3 cops roll over there. So this guy's surrounded by 3 cops now. And he's still going off on him. Fuck you, motherfuckers. Y'all are just yelling at people in their fucking windows. And I was making jokes. I was like, yeah, I mean, that guy was pretty fucking loud. I would have fucking filed an insurance claim. Would have said that his hot air damaged my fucking paint or something, you know. I mean, he was yelling at these people if they slowed down. And anyway, a cop car shows up, and I'm like, oh, fuck, here it goes. The cop car stops, and then he drives away. And then the other cops, they leave him. And then they exchanged some more words, and he told him to just go, and he had him walk away. And that was the end. I mean, guys, I thought for sure at that point something was going to go down, and I was going to miss it. I wasn't going to get it on camera. But that guy, he was ready to romp on that cop so hardcore. And it was just insane. It was just insane how that guy got away with literally drinking. I mean, they could have literally got him for public intox because he was probably fucked up. I mean, there's no way you're sober just sitting there and start screaming at police officers. There's just no fucking way. That just doesn't sound like a sober decision. So I'm assuming the guy was drunk. He was drinking beer. If that happens, if I was to do that, I'm going to jail. I don't have that fucking kind of luck. There is no way I have that fucking kind of luck. Because that guy was just going the fuck off on the cop, drinking, belligerently drunk, and nothing happened. They all surrounded him. My ghetto side would be like they tried to intimidate him. The dude didn't back down, and they walked away. But at the end of the day, it is technically, I would say it is technically legal, right, guys, to say fuck you to a cop? Like, you could say fuck you to anybody. Like, there's no laws against speech. You have freedom of speech. So you could, I know they come out with this new word new thing called verbal assault. I know that's a thing. I'm not sure where the line is drawn. But technically, I believe you can say fuck you to a cop and not be in trouble. Now, if you say fuck you to a cop and you're drunk, you might be in trouble because they can get you for public intoxication. So, the willingness to investigate that public intoxication to potentially charge you with it would be based on you saying to the cop, fuck you, I would think. So you're cutting your audience in half. No, the audience actually went up, buddy. When I started this story, the viewers were at like 64. It went up to 90, and it's at 84 right now. So maybe for you, the viewers went down, but for the rest of us, we're fine. By the way, yeah, the tire did get changed. It was $80 to get the tire. Oh, there's a deer. There's 10 deer. Oh my God, guys, they're here. The deer are here. Oh, fuck. Oh my, y'all better get the fuck away from me. I'm stopping. They ain't gonna run out in front of me. I'm gonna run out in front of you. Ninja. I see a deer. That's how I handle deer, guys. When I see a deer in the side of the road, I don't just keep driving and wait for them to fucking run out into me. No, I stop and go after them first. And then after they run away, then I fucking continue down the road. That's how you handle deer on the side of the road. You don't fucking drive by them and wait for them to fucking jump out in front of you. No, you stop and fucking push them out of the way. You fucking sheepdog them fuckers. And then you continue driving. That's what I do. Free food. That is not food, ladies and gentlemen. Not food. By the way, we did get free... Oh, there's another one. I ain't got time to stop now. But we did get free Domino's pizza as we were walking out. And I technically used it as a hand warmer as I waited in line for about an hour in sub 40 degree weather. It is going to be cold tomorrow. It is going to be definitely under my comfortable temperatures. I'm definitely going to put double the socks. Going to wear the long sleeve. Going to have the hoodie on. We're going to be bundled up. Today all we have was a t-shirt and a hoodie. One pair of socks that definitely sucked. We're probably going to bring the cardboard because it did have the concrete bleachers. So if we bring the cardboard, that's the trick from the Iowa football game. But regardless, that is the situation. Lean meat. Yes, it is lean meat. I'm going to try to read a comment. Hopefully I don't hit a pothole. That's way leaner meat. That, what the fuck, Chaz? Well, dude, you hit a deer, you don't just get to get the meat. I don't know who out here has actually hit a deer, destroyed their vehicle, and then took the actual time you would have to do while your car's destroyed. What are you doing? What are you doing? Calling your insurance company and putting them on speakerphone as you cut this fucking deer on the side of the road? Or first you got to slice its throat because it's probably not fucking dead. Then you got to wait for it to die a second. Then you got to start gutting it. Where are you going to hang it up to... Oh shit, what happened here? Where are you going to hang this deer up to actually take the meat off the bone? Like, what are y'all talking about? I'm thinking about this logistically. I don't just say, oh, lean meat. No, I think of my car getting destroyed. Because I don't think if I hit a fucking deer, I'm going to start gutting the motherfucker and cleaning it on the side of the road as my entire life is destroyed. Like, I still don't get that comment at all, period. Period. Charles Ingalls did it. I'm sure he did. I'm just thinking of this shit logistically. Lean meat. Okay, yeah, I get venison is a very good meat to consume. I get it. When you're actually on a hunting trip or in a survival mode and you kill a deer for the meat, you're prepared to harvest the deer, not driving down the highway and hitting it with your car, destroying your vehicle, and your number one goal is to clean the deer in the middle of the fucking highway or street. Like, what are you people? If people are driving by and they see that, they think you're fucking insane. Like, you're closer to the fucking, Hannibal from Silence of the Lambs. If I see that, if I saw that, I'd be like, what is wrong with that fucking guy? I did get a new tire. It was $80. $80 out the door. We supported a small local business in doing so. All the other options were around 100 plus. The tire at the more so like Walmart's and Discount Tire was cheaper, but their installation rates now at like Discount Tire and Walmart are just stupid high now. I think it was Discount Tire was like $22 to install. And Walmart I think was $17. So the $80 in and out, new tire. It was a better branded tire, better all-terrain version. Wasn't the cheapy knockoffs that the cheaper tires were at Discount and at Walmart. So the guys also rotated the tire because I would have rather had that rim. We checked the rim. We checked if it was bent at all. He said it wasn't really bent. There was a slight curve, but not really noticeable. I looked at it, it looked fine. But I did have a bent rim on the right front of the car. Once again, I don't know to the degree of which it is bent, but I knew it was bent. Regardless, $80 is how much it costed to get out of the... Oh, wait. The late model is on right now. RTJ and Moran side by side with 2 laps to go. Fuck. I didn't know that the late models are on. My Flow subscription actually ended yesterday, and they jacked the price up on me, so I haven't renewed just yet. So now we're getting bright lighted to hell by this guy behind us. I'm just chilling, and this guy is he's ready to take over the world with his Jeep. Came flying up on me at 65. Unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable. I think we're close to our destination, but, I mean, when we go to turn into our destination, this guy gonna fucking rear end us or what? You can kind of tell he's bright at us. Look at how bright the signs are in front of us. Kind of ridiculous. Chaz is NASCAR brainwashed. I don't know what I'm brainwashed about. Can you explain your point of view there? Now the map has closed. This guy is just still consistently right behind me. It's acting like a cop, but it's got the Jeep headlights. There's no way it's a fucking cop. He could have passed me. There was a pass lane back there. Yellow with 2 to go. Recce eats the wall. Oh, shit. Keep me updated. I'm definitely curious on what's happening here. Is Volusia in the fucking heat races still? They've been going extremely late at Volusia. This is the race. Year contender. I don't know what that means. The race of your contender. That's a weird statement to make. Turbo 19th to 4th. Okay. Well, at least before we turned into the driveway here, that fucking Jeep kinda... Oh, I guess we could leave this on here until we're done. Let's see here. I'm reading y'all's comments. I don't have 360s done by 10:30. So 360s were done quicker than Alltech. Did Alltech have a rain delay or something? Cole Falloway won the 360s. I didn't know he was racing. Who won the 360 event? I'd be curious to know that. Peck again? In a Chevy? Did y'all look to confirm if that was a Chevy? Alltech ran 604s and Crown Vics. Also, the Crown Vics did it. So he's got 4 performance on his car, but he's running a Chevy. They qualified the 604, seriously? Brown McCarl second, third. I guess that's good for them, right? No, we didn't get out of the racetrack, guys, until fucking, what was it, 11:30? 11:40 till we even left the racetrack? How are we going to do a talk show? It's 12, almost 12:30 right now. My shit ain't set up or nothing. It's not late for you yet. Might be for the sponsor. It's not late. Did you not hear me say I went to sleep at 6:30 and woke up at 11:45? Who are you people? Slave masters? Wow. You don't think I deserve common decency? That's crazy. You weren't here last night while I was changing the tire on the side of the fucking road at 2 a.m., huh? Changing a fucking tire? Did you go back and watch me hit that sumbitch and blow my whole car to pieces almost? Now you want me to go in there and set my laptop up and do a live? So, starting at 1:30 a.m. So, fuck. We'll hopefully have a recuperation day tomorrow. I was here for the flat. Hilarious. So you think it's funny? You think it's funny? Little dramatic. No. No. There's nothing dramatic about last night. And even though that dude could say it was hilarious, it wasn't. It was very fucking dramatic. It was dramatic. There's no such thing as making a dramatic situation dramatic. It was fucking dramatic. The whole fucking car blew into pieces almost. The foam flew off into the damn floorboard. It was good content. I'm glad you... Oh, God. Uh-huh. I mean, we dodged deer and potholes for 2 fucking hours going 55. Well, right now, I would point to the fucking shoulder. I don't know how that would have happened. Maybe I got whiplash because this part of my neck and shoulder is all fucked up. I probably got whiplash from hitting that fucking pothole. I mean, we need money to keep on going and surviving. This is just the first fucking 2 days that we've been on this trip. We gotta be out here for a month. That's the problem. We're already blowing fucking tires up and paying $50 to park. I mean, we're fucking going down, man. The rim looked good. Hell, we could be on the road for the next fucking 3 months if we really wanted to do it right. Yeah, fucking Bowman Gray shit. $50 to park each day. Each day. I was so mad. If I knew that was going to happen, I would have like planned ahead to maybe like park in some downtown parking lot area and just Uber to the fucking track. That's probably what I should have did. What happened to RTJ? He got in the wall and like pulled off or what? It is weird, ain't it, that it is extended out though like that. I'm not sure if the door is leaned out or if the wall's leaned back, to be honest. That is different. I've never seen that. Right? No, apparently you get to stand in the fucking cold while you wait for these fucking buses to come. It took an hour. It took an hour. I stood outside in a line for an hour waiting on a bus to get to my fucking car to this parking lot. It was ridiculous. Trying to see this message that was hidden for review. I guess the wall is fucked. Okay. RTJ and Albertson got together. RTJ hit the front stretch wall and tore his car up. He DNF'd. Oh, okay. Yeah, changing the tires risky. I've always tried to get to like an exit ramp at least. But there was none. The comfortability of how warm this car is hard to explain. We are in Bowman Gray, well, we're not. We're in Lexington, North Carolina, visiting the Bowman Gray Stadium for the NASCAR Clash. We just got back from the track. My neck is sore. I don't know what the fuck happened to my neck, but it is sore. I-81 sucks. Always heavy traffic. It wasn't too much heavy traffic at 2 a.m. last night, but there was some trucks. NASCAR crash at Bowman Gray. There wasn't too many crashes. I really thought that Kyle Busch had saved the day, not kicking off that first heat race with the excitement that he did, because it was very exciting, that first heat race. It really, really was. You're my favorite transgender YouTuber. Well, thank you. I'm trying to become less racist. Now, when I say the words less racist, I'm trying to say, even though I understand that NASCAR are the rich, white, privileged people of the world, are disenfranchised, disrespected, and underrepresented dirt track people, dark brown dirt track people, I stand up and I speak for our people. And I hate what the rich white people of the NASCAR world have done. And I've been hatred towards their races that they put on. So I'm trying to accept their races that they put on and become less racist in the world of motorsports. So that's what I'm trying to be, less racist towards asphalt races, towards NASCAR races, towards a bunch of different towards a bunch of different races in the world of motorsports. I'm trying to become less racist, literally. You're just jealous of your betters. I don't know how that means or what that means. 24 to the front. You're a William Byron guy, or what in the hell are you talking about? 24 to the front. I don't know how people are William Byron fans. I need help on how y'all like some of these people. Like, how do you like William Byron? What is it? What is it that makes you a fan of William Byron? Tell me why. What does he stand for that makes you want to be his fan? Yeah, William Byron couldn't make laps on a dirt late model. He spun it out left and right. He couldn't even make laps. Chase Elliott actually deserves a little respect. He did, run competitively with the 360s in California. I mean, he did do that. He was wheel to wheel with Comacito. I mean, yeah, Larson looked fucking lost, guys. I mean, he looked like an amateur. Who asked Randall for $600K? One team asked Randall for $600K. Another team asked Randall for $500K. And from my understanding, is the only reason they asked that is because they knew Dennis Allball is going to support Chase. Who cares who your sponsor is? Why are you asking these things? It's disgusting. So if you got money behind you or not, the price goes up. That never happens. Like, that's just stupid for those prices to even be thrown out there just because they know that he has a guy with money behind him. I'm not throwing the teams under the bus, guys. It's not doing it. These are 100% confirmed situations that are problems with the sport. What about Tyler Reddick? He won one Lucas Oil late model race and he is one that goes pro because of Grandpa's money. Correct. The late model world don't care about Tyler Reddick, though. The sprint car world cares about Kyle. Probably costs more than $600K to run a national series. Okay, man, you You just keep going down that route. Me, Emerson Axum, Clyde Knipp, a bunch of other people in this racing industry will continue to disagree with your statement. It ain't supposed to be about that. The sport's supposed to be about putting the best drivers you got in the cars and competing. That's how sports work. There ain't one NFL football team out there starting another player over another because he has more money than the next guy. Ain't one motherfucking guy gonna get drafted in the NFL draft over another guy because he brings more money to the table. It's about how he performs. That's how real sports operate. The best advance to the next level. No matter how much money you got. Well, yeah, that's why I blame the sport in general. The issue in the sport is funding. The economics of the sport are fucked up. The economics of NASCAR are fucked up. Had several conversations about that today. Had a conversation about the high limit series and the charter system with these NASCAR fans today. 100% fucked up. The economics are destroyed. They have to be fixed. Or like Clyde and me and Emerson, everybody agreed the egos of the sport are for the betterment. The egos of the sport are supposed to be like, okay, you go ahead and put your 600K driver in there. I'm going to put a guy in here for free that I know is better than your 600K guy, and we're going to beat you every single fucking week. Suck my dick. That's the ego. That's the ego. It does suck when you got kids who don't respect the money, though. You know, on the way out here, I called a guy from Bristol that I knew, that I did some stuff with before. And I was like, so how's you and the kid and the race team going? He said, oh, well, the kid, he actually called me last week and said he don't want to drive the car. He just wants to go fishing. And I go, really? He goes, yeah, he wants to sell all the racing stuff, buy a bass boat with the sales, and go fishing. And I said, like, I was honest with him. I said, you know, that, what you're telling me, no disrespect to you or your kid, that right there is the difference between somebody who's worked for his shit and somebody who's had it given to him. Because you, I was talking to the dad who spit the money, you had spent at least $1 million. When I said that, he said, oh yeah, easy, way over that. So a couple $1 million into this guy, into your kid's racing career, and he just wakes up one day and wants to go fishing. Throws away millions and millions of dollars of investment and hard work away for fishing. If he would have had to work for all of that stuff that he was racing, he would have never, ever woke up one day and said, I just want to go fishing. There's a big difference in multiple ways as to why it's better that somebody works for their equipment versus having it given to them. And that's just a small glimpse of the mentality as to why it should be very important that some of these people work for the things that they have. It's about appreciation and respect. So, does Randall's dad own Bush's Chicken? He owns one store. No one wants to hear about a rich kid not being rich enough. Well, that's how half the difference between your high-level dirt and local asphalt racers and your NASCAR drivers. And then that's the difference between a NASCAR driver and an F1 driver. You know, they're renting those cars out for like $60 million in F1. You know, so, yeah. There's levels to it, right? There's local street stock drivers who are like, man, if I had the money for the super, I would be this. And then there's local, or if I had the money for a modified, then I could be this. And then there's modified drivers who, if I had the money for the super late model, then I could be that. Then there's super late model and sprint car guys who's like, if I had the money for NASCAR, I could be that. Then there's NASCAR drivers who said, if I have the money to be a F1 driver, I could be that. What you're saying is just true. I mean, that's reality. Is a 69K going to give a PA up-and-comer a ride? Hope they're going to risk it and take a chance on C-Bill. I thought they already said they're doing C-Bill. Tyler Reddick equals Coe Trickle on the late model side. Yeah, he does, but that's the difference. The cultural icon of late model racing was Scott Bloomquist. The cultural icon of sprint car racing was Jeff Gordon. Scott Bloomquist is what the late model industry idolizes and views as the highest form of icon in their sport. That's why late model racing don't care if Tyler Reddick runs a race or comes back or any of that shit. That's why in late model racing, when Kyle Larson comes and races, Jonathan Davenport's t-shirt trailer has a longer line than him. In the sprint car world, that doesn't happen. High Limit needs Kyle Larson to fill a grandstand. Kyle Larson's t-shirt trailer next to David Gravel's has a line around the block, while Gravel has just a few. You're correct. Tyler Reddick is the Coe Trickle of the late model industry, but the late model industry does not idolize Coe Trickles like the sprint car industry does. Do you think dirt racing on TV would work? Xfinity Series TV deal is $125 million a year, and they all rent their cars. Yeah, sprint car racing could work on TV if it's produced correctly. I would say it would be better formulated and packaged and produced like Supercross, more so than NASCAR. Anyway, when C-Bill goes to the 69K, will it be Toyotas? I don't think so. Basically a Coe Trickle situation. Yes, Kyle Larson is the Coe Trickle. Emerson Axum was saying that he thinks that that's true and that there's a culture shift happening. I think that's true with Wyatt Miller and Brexton Bush and a bunch of these younger guys wanting to be sprint car drivers. The icon is slowly switching. The culture is slowly changing. You know, Corey Day is going to NASCAR. I don't feel like there's that, oh my God, hype behind it like it was with Kyle, like it was with Stewart, like it was with Kane, like it was with Jeff Gordon. That icon is slowly dying away now that we finally went through almost a full generation of people who are psychologically manipulated to look at that person as an icon. You talk about the Lucas Oil feature yet? Pretty good. Didn't see it, unfortunately. C-Bell's in the 69K at Volusia and Vegas. Pittman is in it for Williams Grove Outlaw races, and Ryan Smith is in the 69K for the rest of the time. So there's your 69K information. I feel like if they had 3 shows and just ran the late model and sprint car features on TV, it would work. I think you almost have to change the format up. I think, like I said, with Supercrosses, I think instead of 12-car heat races, you do more so like full field split qualifiers. Say you got 40 cars, you do 2 20-lap, 20-car qualifiers, and then you transfer the top 10 from each. And then maybe you do an LCQ with the remainder and the top 4 from that LCQ, make it 15 laps, go into the main event that is 30. So you only have about 5 total races. So that's how I think that would work. You got to restructure the qualifying procedure. Yeah, I saw the results. I saw Moran won. Tyler Erb third from 17th. Davenport third. How does Tyler Erb end up third and Davenport ends up third? That doesn't make sense. Bet Lucas Oil had more passing in the A main than Bowman Gray had all day. That's very true. I was explaining that to the asphalt fans on the way out. I was like, it seems like everybody gets all hyped up in asphalt racing when there's a wreck or a crash, and it was exciting, but I was like, at a dirt race, I get excited when they're racing. Like the actual racing is exciting. Like the crashes, they're whatever, but I feel like when I'm at a short track or an asphalt race, people are just waiting for the wreck or the crash, and that's what's going to make everything fun and exciting and enjoyable. Um, Whereas at a dirt race, it's the actual back and forth racing, side by side, aggressive style, three wide, guys coming from the back, moving through the field. Like I feel like I think I said at the end of it, I was like, yeah, I guess I like dirt racing because I like racing. So and they really didn't disagree. Yeah, it's about like the dome. Honestly, the Bowman Gray is really almost exactly like the dome. Literally like the dome. And I would also add on to that, I thought that dirt people were a bunch of drunks. No, 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 no. The amount of drunks I saw at Bowman Gray today, and thinking back on it at the NASCAR races I've gone to, they're the biggest drunks of all. I mean, I got to give an apology to the dirt fan. Y'all are not a bunch of drunks in comparison to the NASCAR crowd. Y'all are sober. Y'all are like AA version 1. They're like AA version 6 or 7. I have to say that right now. Yeah, man, my neck is killing me. What they would have interviewed RTJ. Maybe we are drunk. You did at least immediately correct yourself with Wish. But that's about how some of the NASCAR fans were talking today. What they would have talked to Kyle Busch. Did you see Caitlin or Kyle today? I think I saw Caitlin once. I didn't look for him though. But Caitlin, there was this one girl that walked out, looked very similar to Caitlin. There is a lot more female attendance at NASCAR events, but that's also because it's clean. You know, these women, they spend $300-400 on their hair. They don't want to go to a damn dirt track and just get dirt poured into it. They can go to these asphalt races and just sit and chill. It's clean. It's not dirty. It's not nasty. It's not grimy. You know, it's a dirt race. You know, it's dirty. Any fights in the pits? I didn't hear about them. If there were, I don't know why anybody would take an expensive race car to Bowman. What a shit hole. I mean, the racing wasn't bad. The Cup Series had their one little bang. AJ Allmendinger got put in the wall by Cole Custer and didn't fight back. Technically, he should have. Um, yeah, but outside of that, the racing in the Cup Series wasn't bad. I feel like the racing tomorrow actually will be decent when you get a full pack out there. It could become a carnage shit show, but we'll find out. I camped in the infield at Talladega, pretty wild. That's what I mean. I mean, I'm thinking it's just a big drunk show. Just shit face fucking drunk all the time. Like I said, I used to think that our dirt fans used to get just slop drunk, but there's nothing in comparison to what I saw today. So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna go to sleep. I mean, I haven't had a full night's sleep. I'm on like 3 and 4 hours sleep. Lincoln Speedway's bathroom is a hole in a piece of plywood over a hole in the ground. That's why you don't see women at dirt tracks. This is true. The restrooms definitely need to be upgraded. You staying for tomorrow or heading out? I am definitely staying for tomorrow. I already have my tickets. I have this place to stay. I don't know when I will head down to Volusia. It's not like Volusia starts tomorrow night. Like, why would I go down to Volusia immediately after tomorrow? If I can have somewhere to stay, I go down to Volusia, I'm sleeping in my car, guys. Like, I don't know what y'all are thinking is happening here. Like, I have a house down in Florida that I'm going to. I don't. But I can stay here as much as I need according to Brad. So if I could just stay here until I need to head down for the first race day at Volusia or whatever race day. I still could go to Hendry for the King of 360s next week. Don't technically have to go to Volusia. Although I get that is where the racing action's happening. The racing action is happening at Volusia. There's no denying that. There is no denying that. But anyways, yeah, we're going to get out of here. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to join in and help the support and all that crap, I mean, I can't even speak straight. Venmo, PayPal links in the description. We are 3 days into this trip. We will be at Bowman Gray tomorrow for the Cup Clash. It is going to be cold. We're going to try to bundle up. We're also going to try to get some rest and maybe put together a little piece of our whole shenanigans with the spare tire, make its own little video, probably be 8 or 10 minutes long from last night. I'm going to try to potentially put that together tomorrow. Maybe do a live before or after the race tomorrow. We'll see when we get in and get out. That'll be a big determining factor on if we do it after or not. More than likely we'll do a show on Monday though, potentially from here at the house. That'll be the best option. No Ocala Lucas is better. No Ocala Lucas Oil is better. Yeah, I just don't go to late model races that are 5 days. Sorry. I just don't go to late model races that are 5 days straight. I actually think Volusia is closer as well. Now that I'm on this side of North Carolina. I want to go to late model races. Ocala, I've never been a fan. I know some people say they love Ocala. I'm not a fan of Ocala personally. I think the racing goes single file there a lot. I do like the late model racing at Volusia, though. I think it puts on amazing events. Or puts on some amazing events. I wish Volusia would lose the modifieds. I mean, that's their bread and butter. Look at how much money in pit passes they're making from the modifieds. They're paying them junk shit. What is it, 1,000 to win, 800 to win, guys? I mean, they're paying them nothing and getting back a lot. Look at the tires I bet you they're selling. Making a lot of money. They're making a lot of money on those modifieds. Robbing Peter to pay Paul. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the show or the staying with me last night. Thanks for keeping up with me all day and here tonight. Like the video, comment below. As always, be sure to subscribe. And as always, we will catch you next time. I can't even say what I'm trying to say. Chaz wants to go to Volusia. He can sneak over to Daytona for NASCAR. Oh, my God. Chaz, have you watched the Australian sprint car title? No, I heard it was a shit show, but it really just looked like it was dry, slick, and ruddy. But anyways, thanks for tuning in once again. Click the join button. Join the membership of the channel. Be sure to subscribe, and we will catch you next time, ladies and gentlemen. More than likely tomorrow at some point.